Welcome to the 13th day of November, 2024. This is the Wednesday edition of Litter Media Live. With the icon Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. Mr. Hand 2 is off camera here. Thank you very much. Here he is flapping his wings this morning.
You wanted to see if that showed up on your flight
Yeah, I'm looking at flight radar. We had a helicopter fly overhead just a moment ago, and I've got this app on my phone for where I fly the drone, so I make sure that we're not running into any airplanes or anything like that. And so we were toying with that just before we took the air today. Coming up in a moment, some beneficial news you can use, sports, and this date in history, all just ahead for you. In just a moment. Stay out of that box.
Got him. Red-handed.
McDonald's was here earlier today, and I like how the green disappears on the box. But
well, the donuts will be disappearing if Aaron gets a hold of them.
Well, he wasn't able to open the box because it's sealed right here. So
I didn't see that. So I was trying to become Mr. Donut.
Sealed to prevent the steal. Yeah.
So the big hand stopped down on Mr. Hand too there for a moment. But yeah, that's all I want is to smell these donuts being eaten while I can't eat because we're doing the show. Yeah. So
you can eat during the commercials.
But listen at him.
We've done that over the years a few times.
We have. And they've turned into some interesting shows. But yeah, thanks to McDonald's for stopping by with Krispy Kreme donuts, which are, again, looking at the box, you can't see the green on the box. But they now have these, you can get the 6-packs, you can buy them at a single donut as well, all at McDonald's. If you want to find out more about that, just click on the interview, which is on our YouTube channel now. Is that right? Okay, very good. Let's take a look at the forecast for today.
Pleasant currently, but showers move in later tonight and will be with us throughout the day tomorrow. Look for highs in the low 60s. Nighttime lows 39. I had frost on the ground and on the roof of the house again overnight, and I'm assuming many people in our entire area did as well.
Yes. The low-lying area in which the Ramey Ranch is was covered by frost as well. So, all right, coming up in a moment, news you can use. But first, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. You can use them all the time. They are your trusted comfort advisor. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to their website, which is accuratehvac.com, to find out more about their service territory and the services they provide at Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it.
Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit DixieChopper.com.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Haynes Total Healthcare Center is located on One Health Drive, just off Marietta Pike in Chillicothe. Well, it's Marietta Road, isn't it? Chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs. They've been doing this for 50 years, celebrating their golden anniversary. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It takes you to HaynesHealth.com, where you can learn more about the doctors they have and the services they provide at Haynes Total Healthcare Center. While you're at littermedia.com, you can see some of the stories that we're going to share with you today and see what you might have missed. It's all available for you right there at littermedia.com.
And we want to give a shout out to our readers of littermedia.com. We've set some records here of late.
It's been crazy.
And we can't do it without you. And just bookmark that to your your browser, and hopefully that'll be the first thing you see each day when you open up.
That means we're providing them with information that they want to know about.
I hope that means just that. Yes, indeed. One of the stories you're seeing today on our website during a ceremony earlier this week at Lake Hope State Park, Governor Mike DeWine and Ohio Department of Natural Resources Director Mary Mertz officially designated Raccoon Creek as Ohio's newest state scenic river. The designation makes Raccoon Creek the 16th state scenic river in the state and the first in the state's southeastern region, flowing for more than 100 miles through parts of Vinton, Meigs, and Gallia counties.
The river has come back. It's in good shape. The water quality is good. The number of fish that are in there today has gone up dramatically. The number of species has gone up about 4 times from what it was when the river was in dire straits. So a happy day and something to really to celebrate.
And producer Aaron, put that first photo you had back up. This is what Raccoon Creek looked like before they were able to get that acid mine drainage contamination out. And then on the bottom, for those of you, of course, listening on Litter Media Radio, you can't see this, it's pristine, clear water, as opposed to almost a rust-looking water.
I know when you and I, during our broadcasts of ball games over at the Convo, have gone State Route 32 across there, you will cross Raccoon Creek, and it's been a noticeable difference in recent years to see all that change. But there's one particular spot, I think in Meigs County, where there's cattails all over the place, but they were never healthy-looking cattails. And I think it's because of the acidic water that was there.
Yeah.
So, but I know a lot of kayakers are going on Raccoon Creek now, and they like that. As a part of Native American Heritage Month, Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks has shared in its November newsletter video comments from spokespersons for the Wyandot Tribe of Ohio and Oklahoma, the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma, and Chief Glenna Wallace with the Eastern Shawnee of Oklahoma. Now, of course, all those tribes were here in Ohio before they were moved out of the country. But I thought Chief Glenna Wallace had something very interesting to share with we here in Ohio.
I want people in Ohio to realize that they aren't the ones who are responsible for the history that happened to us. I'm not here to place a guilt trip on anyone. Many of them don't know that when the Indian Removal Act was voted upon in 1830, many of them don't know that Ohio was obviously a state at that time. They obviously had 2 state senators. Both of those senators voted against the Indian Removal Act. Ohio at that time, their population enabled them to have 13 representatives in 1830 when that was voted upon. 11 of those representatives voted against the Indian Removal Act. So it was not the people here in Ohio who were casting out the indigenous people. I also want them to know, though, how very difficult it was for us. We left in September. We didn't arrive to Oklahoma. It wasn't even Oklahoma then. It was simply Indian territory. We had run out of food. We had run out of money. The government had run out of food. The government had run out of money. What do you plant in December? What do you pick in December? We got down to only 70 people. If we don't talk about it, they don't get taught in school. So we have an obligation and a responsibility to do programs and to do teaching and to do celebrating, especially in that month.
You know, during the World Heritage designation, the inscription and everything, you had an opportunity to see Glenna speak. Chief Wallace was here prior to all of that as well. She is a remarkable, remarkable woman.
Yes, she is.
And that's the first time I've ever heard someone actually say that we were not at fault for what happened with their peoples. But she gives a fantastic description as to part of the sorrow that they have experienced. I had no clue that they only had 70 people left in the tribe at one point in time, all due to the fact that they were moved at a certain time. And I remember the Trail of Tears and all. We don't understand what that's like. You can read about it biblically with the people of Israel being moved to and fro. But to hear it from one whose family experienced it.
Right.
I thought it was important to share her words earlier today on this program.
A group of local organizations committed to youth resiliency have teamed up to bring a new youth center to Ross County. The recently acquired Landrum Youth Empowerment Center is located at 147 North Bridge Street, and if you're looking at this picture, you recognize that's the former Bridge Street Church of Christ building. The center will offer training for youth organizations, peer and parent support groups, mentoring programs, after-school activities, and co-working space for area nonprofits.
Grateful to see it back in use again.
Yes.
The Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services Director Leanne Cornyn has announced the award for $100 million in federal grant funding that will be used in communities across the state to advance ongoing efforts to fight I always have trouble with this, opioid use disorder and prevent overdose deaths. In our area, agencies receiving funds include the Paint Valley NMH Board to the tune of $2.6 million, Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health, $488,000, Adams, Lawrence, and Scioto County NMH, $2.1 million, Another Chance Life Changers Incorporated, $253,000, Pickaway County Area Recovery Services, $175,000, Fairfield County NMH, $513,000, and Connections West of Fairfield County, $130,000 for their efforts.
The Paint Valley Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Board, better known as ADAMH, held the 11th annual Write in Red essay contest during Red Ribbon Week in late October. The essay contest was for all middle and high school students in Fayette, Highland, Pickaway, Pike, and Ross counties. Students are provided a red pen and asked to write an essay about ways to prevent drug, alcohol, and tobacco use. There's a long list of winning students in that competition. You can find that all by going to our website story at littermedia.com.
Another holiday bazaar for you to enjoy is the Holiday Bazaar at Ohio University Chillicothe Shoemaker Center. That's this Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m. Discover unique gifts, handmade crafts, and festive fun for the whole family to enjoy.
The Ross County Farmers Club has invited a speaker from the Army Corps of Engineers to talk about stream bank stabilization on private property. Lake Sudecki from the Army Corps will be there to talk about what can be done. Now, there's a dinner that will be provided during this program, and cost for non-members is $15. So if you'd like to get in on this, go to the website go.osu.edu/RC Farmers Club.
I was at the playground yesterday. Went out to Coppel Athletic Complex yesterday. They have a grand reopening of the new playground at the Don Coppel Athletic Complex. That's this Friday at noon. Now, I noticed much of the play apparatuses are the same. However, the big difference is that tartan flooring. It is very spongy. Kids are going to have a blast running on that, but there were pebbles there, and those pebbles had a tendency to get thrown everywhere. I know I took Amelia there at one point in time when it first opened up, and she was playing and more interested in the pebbles than she was all the apparatus to go through. But this will be reopened again this coming Friday. So I thought I better get a look at it in person before Friday, since I may not be able to be there.
I imagine the tartan surface is to make it more accessible in, if it's just rain, you don't have to wait till all the mud clears up. You can get right out there and enjoy the fun.
Yes.
If you're a business or an individual who doesn't have an auction item but would still like to support the Rock for Tots fundraiser concert on December the 6th, any monetary donation will be accepted. Your name and or business would be on their sponsor slideshow throughout the evening of December the 6th. We recently had Paul Pollard in talking about that. We have a website story where you can get the link for their Facebook page to get more information on how you can help out.
These kids are sophomores right now who are going to be going to the Pickaway-Ross Career and Technology Center and seeing it for the first time so that they can make decisions about the future. Now, not everybody who wants to go to the CTC gets to go to the CTC. There's a selection process they have to go through, and a lot of that is because of the great demand for people wanting to go to the CTCs. We've had that conversation with the Lieutenant Governor as he's been here to have a few sessions and talking with people and bringing school together with business, and this is the opportunity. So if you're a sophomore of one of the Ross County schools, which they also include Tays Valley in on this, and Westfall, as well as Circleville and Logan Elm, you want to participate. That's tomorrow night, 5 to 7 p.m. out on Krause Chapel Road at that campus area, not the one on 104. You want to go to the one on Krause Chapel Road. And the Veterans Administration will have a special Christmas craft and vendor bazaar. That is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in B9 Hall. They will have handcrafted items and chicken noodles for dining. Our good buddy Tina Foray, she has put this together. She was remember the clowns Pockets, and and she was one of the clowns. Okay. But she's involved in putting this together. So I saw this on Facebook and I said, let's give them a shout out.
Looks like Santa's going to be there also at 1 p.m.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yes, sir. And that is the topics for today.
All right. Just ahead, a look at sports details coming up next. But first,
this message.
Let's tell you about Scion Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. A lot of folks are trying to maybe do some remodeling of things in their homes and time for the holidays. Well, you need a dumpster to do some of that because you want to get rid of the old and bring in the new, right? Or if you're a business and you have a need for a dumpster, give Carl a call at 740-253-8389.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Time for sports now, and we want to talk football.
Yeah, the Litter Media game of the week for football this Friday night takes us to Zanesville High School. The Tays Valley Vikings taking on Massillon, Washington.
Which has a storied tradition of football, far greater than what Tays Valley's has been over the years. But this is monumental for Tays Valley. I don't think they've been this far in the playoffs before.
Yeah, this has been a big year for Tays Valley. They moved to a brand new conference, did better, I think, than a lot of people expected their first year in the OCC, and here they're all the way in the regional semifinals. This is the high school that Paul Brown coached at before going to Ohio State, and then later on the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, and Washington has, I don't know how many kids who have gone to Ohio State. Mm-hmm. I think perhaps one of the most famous would be Chris Spielman. So,
and if you've ever been to a state championship game at Massillon, that's Paul Brown Stadium.
Yeah,
where Massillon, Washington plays.
Amanda has been there several times.
Yeah. Love that press box. Not.
You know, that is the toughest press box to broadcast from, because For instance,
I think it's the original press box.
You can't see depth from what I'm trying to describe to you, but you have, for instance, behind us about a foot behind your seat, and there's the cabinet that you're sitting there writing on, keeping notes on, and then you've got the window right in front of you. But you have no room to move, and the whole press box, the length of the press box, is people talking.
Wall to wall.
Wall to wall radio stations.
Both years that I was there doing a game, we were on the far left side, and the heater that heats the entire press box, it hangs down from the ceiling, and it's about that far from my head, blowing hot air on me all game long. I thought I lost 20 pounds sweating throughout that broadcast. But
I think I was there for the Amanda Clear Creek Columbus Academy state championship game. And that year they had just built another press box for the newspaper writers over on the other side. And there was like 5 people over there.
Yeah.
And then you've got 40 broadcasters all crammed into this one. And it was just nothing but chatter the whole time.
Yeah. I was 1-1 with the Aces up there. They got beat by Liberty Center the first year I was there, and we beat, as if I played, Bedford Chanel the second time. And BJ Daly, who's with us on the broadcast Friday, he was there for both of the games that I was at. So
I got to witness Ron Hinton kick a waterlogged toboggan farther than I've ever seen before.
I had laryngitis that weekend. Dan was filling in for me, so oh well.
It was a lot of fun. Certainly was. But good luck going to Zanesville. Exchange with Scott Aaronholt yesterday, and I told him, I said, I really miss those Chillicothe-Zanesville matchups. And he says those were the best, weren't they? Yeah, best because he won a lot of those.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Ohio State football, number 2 in the playoff poll. Oregon remains number 1. Just a point difference between the two teams in their only meeting so far. Is it possible that they may meet for the Big Ten championship a little bit later on?
Now, when you look at this bracket, if you're confused because you say, well, wait a minute, Ohio State's number 2. Why do they show up number 5? Well, the conference champions get the bye, so that's why they fill in where they do as 1 through 4. Ohio State would have the 5th position, even though ranked number 2. If it were to end today, they would have the 5th position.
I want you to notice those top teams in the left bracket are hosting these games.
Yes, sir.
I want to see Alabama play in the snow in Indiana. I want to see Mississippi try and win in Penn State. And this is one of the big arguments there's always been. A Big Ten team usually goes down to Florida or California, plays in this nice, comfortable weather. I want to see it turn the other way around.
Right.
And we're going to see it thanks to this expansion of the playoffs.
Yes, sir. And again, these positions here could change if Ohio State and Oregon meet in the Big Ten championship and the Buckeyes win. So there you go. The Columbus Blue Jackets, after a real nice start, they're struggling right now. They have now lost 6 straight. They lose to Seattle last night by a score of 5-2. It's been not just a tough West Coast trip, but they had lost, I think, 2 or 3 before venturing out there. I think they're coming home this weekend. So.
They always have a difficult time in the West Coast.
Yeah.
I don't care what the situation is with the team's status. It seems like when they go out west, it just doesn't go well for them.
Aaron Glandon was out there on the West Coast. Did you have that hard of a time out there?
Did
you have a
trouble?
losing streak on the West Coast?
Well, you did have a SWAT moment, didn't you?
Yeah, there was. I was on the 4th floor of my apartment building, and on Good Friday, someone on the 2nd floor got shot.
Your mother's heard this story before?
Yes.
Okay, we're not scaring her to death.
And so they locked down the apartment complex, and the SWAT team landed a helicopter on the street, and they came and were busting down the door. Our balcony looked down onto the pool, which was on the 2nd floor, and the culprit also lived right by the pool, so we could look out and see the SWAT team with their battering ram. It was crazy.
It sounds like a TV show or a movie.
Yeah.
Being made right
Which
there,
being
yeah.
in Los Angeles, it could have been.
Yeah.
But it was real.
Yeah.
It was
is this
real.
a movie, or is this really happening?
I think they finally got in there around 9 p.m. and the guy was not there. He had fled before the cops even showed up.
All that drama.
He was out swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, we would hear a flashbang that they were throwing into his apartment.
Wow.
Didn't you say that one of your roommates got locked out of that because he was gone to get breakfast or something?
It all occurred in the morning. And so I woke up to the sound of gunfire and thought, that sounds like gunshots. Then I went back to sleep. And then
it's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then after a while, we were all up, and we were supposed to take one of my friends to the airport because we had a long weekend, and he was going back home to Oregon to see his family. And so I was the one with a car. So we got in the parking lot, or in the garage, and we were going to leave, and there was yellow tape around the block. And then I remembered the sound of gunshots that had woken me up earlier that morning. So we went back to the apartment, found out we were on lockdown, and then we were like, where's our fourth roommate? Turns out that he had woken up, wanted to use the bathroom, but both of our bathrooms were occupied. So he went across the street to Target to use the bathroom.
That's where he was.
And when he tried to come back, he could not get in. So he had to just hang out all day.
Do a lot of shopping at Target. Yeah. Okay.
The tales of teens in California. Yeah. So, thank you for sharing that. You weren't in your teens, were you? Were you 20?
I was 22.
22. Okay. So the
No.
post-teens.
Yes, 22. I was 22.
Okay. Very good. Coming up, this date in history, the Litter Media Wayback Machine is dialed up to
1953, the Red Scare versus Robin Hood. Stay tuned. Litter Quality Propane, 92 years of serving propane users in southern and central Ohio. Reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. Litter Quality Propane.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today. The year was 1953.
Communist everywhere.
And names like Red Skelton and Cincinnati Reds were not, well...
The Reds changed their nickname, but Red kept his. Yeah.
Is that when they went to Red Legs?
Red Legs. Yeah. Well, in 1953, on this date, in an example of the lengths to which the Red Scare in America is going, Mrs. Thomas J. White of the Indiana Textbook Commission calls for the removal of references to the book Robin Hood from textbooks used by the state schools. Mrs. White claimed that there was a communist directive in education now to stress the story of Robin Hood because he robbed the rich and gave to the poor. That's the communist line. It's just a smearing of, this is a quote, this is just a smearing of law and order, and anything that disrupts law and order is their meat, unquote. But I think Robin Hood's story was long before the Red Scare.
Errol Flynn, right?
Yeah, or even before, well, I'm not the movie, the story, Robin Hood.
Sure, yeah.
It goes back centuries, so...
But, Warner Brothers with Bugs Bunny and everything had that famous episode in which he and the Sheriff of Nottingham kept going back and forth over the King's garden. But that would have been around 1954, 55.
Well, the movie was 1939
Yeah.
with Errol Flynn. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's people were just kind of out of joint about a lot of things at that time concerning the communist Red Scare.
Little did they know that around the corner was the Beatles coming with the British invasion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Someone has a question for you guys on the Facebook comments.
Oh, yeah?
If you could pick any one of these college quarterbacks to lead the Browns next season, which would you choose?
Which ones are they?
From the bracket, I would assume.
I couldn't tell you who half those teams' quarterbacks are. So.
I know Ole Miss's quarterback has a great name for a quarterback.
That sounds funny. Old Missus.
Old Missus, yeah.
His name is Jackson Dart.
Ooh.
It's Jackson with an X, and then his last name is Dart. That's a great quarterback name.
D-A-R-T.
Yeah.
So he's throwing darts.
Right.
Gotcha.
Who was
I don't watch enough college football to know who's who.
There was a high school kid last season. His name was Jet something, and I thought that was a great football name.
Yeah. I can't remember what team that was we were covering that had that. There was a kid that we covered. His name was Jet. But I can't remember what school that was. So, yeah. All righty. I guess that's going to wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
I got a lunch appointment I got to get to.
All right. Tell Neil we said hi.
Oh, sir.
All right. In the meantime, we'll talk to you soon with another edition of Litter Media Live.